See. Okay. Hi. Okay, Wendy, hi. Are you able to take some notes for today?
Yeah, I am. I'm also trying to record.
It looks
now.
like
Yeah.
I can
It's
see it.
recording.
Yeah, there's a little
Oh,
red.
it's still recording? Okay.
So we're good. Okay, cool.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So hi everyone. Just a reminder that these sessions are recorded, and if you have a problem with that, just send me a personal message in the chat. But we want to record these community conversations because they're just so important. We post them daily on our landing page for our COVID-19 resources and responses. So, and as we progress, remember, we're going to have these every weekday at 11 o'clock. We will start to have themes for each of these community conversations, and today is actually one of our first ones. And a lot of people are joining in, so this is wonderful. We'll just wait another minute before we get started since it's 11:01. And for those of you that are just tuning in that don't have your mic muted, please mute your mic unless you're speaking. That's sort of our new norm now, right? Now that we're all doing these Zoom chats, like always remembering to mute yourselves, right? Though we don't want to mute DC, right? But but we do have to mute ourselves when we're on these calls. It just makes it a little easier for us to hear each other. Okay, we'll get started in just a minute. Okay, folks, let's get started. I want to be respectful of everyone's time. It's already 11:02, my gosh, and we already have 24 people on, 25. These Zoom chats that the DC Collaborative is providing weekdays now are exponentially growing, so we're going to start to see more and more people populating these Zoom chats. Just a reminder for folks that are just tuning in, the DC is recording this session. If you have any concerns about that, just send me a private message in the chat. But if you look to your, it should be on everyone's upper left-hand corner. You see the recording, so that means smile. For those of you on camera, you're on camera. Also, when you do speak, hi, everybody, wave. And when you do speak, you will be recorded, and we're going to archive these on the DC Collaborative's COVID-19 landing page, which we'll go through in just a moment. So, okay, so I'll just start off, and maybe if we could just do really quick intros, just who you are, the organization you're with, or if you're a teaching artist, some of the orgs that you work with, just to say hi. Today's theme is, we're here to talk about all different things to help support each other, but today's theme is around if you're an organization or teaching artist that don't have online resources or downloadable materials, how you might be able to partner with and benefit from others that have been doing this already, just how we can all support each other as a community of practice. And what we'll do before we go around and talk about that, we'll have Trés, who will introduce himself next, actually walk us through the DC Collaborative online resource, which we've created. So I'll just start. I'm Lissa Rosenthal-Yaffe, the director of the DC Arts and Humanities Education Collaborative, and really appreciate all of you being online. Again, so appreciative that we're able to have this online ability to stay connected, to share the latest information we know, and also for us to have some water cooler moments, because we know this is such a strange time for all of us. So appreciate all of you being here.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Trey McMichael. I'm the Education Programs Manager for the DC Collaborative, and I am the person who's been constructing the DC Collaborative's Distance Learning Resource Database. I'm not sure, Lissa, did you want me to show people that now, or would you like me to wait until everyone has introduced themselves? You're on mute. You're on mute. I can't hear you.
Sorry, be patient with us. We're still getting our sea legs on all of this, even though this is the 5th day of these. Does it not feel like it's been 5 months already? It's already been day 5, right? It's crazy.
It feels like one long Monday.
Yeah, wow, right everyone? It's been crazy.
It is like the longest Monday I've ever had.
Okay. Maybe we could introduce ourselves. Yes, Cynthia, that's what we're doing now. So thank you, sorry. So if everyone could go around and
chat box.
Yeah, that's in the chat box. So let's start first with, I don't know if everyone has the same order, so I'll just point around and ask folks to introduce themselves. So first, let's start with Addie.
Hi, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Addie Gayoso, Senior Educator at the National Museum of Women in the Arts.
Alexis.
Hi, I'm Alexis. I'm with Keegan Theater. I'm the Director of Education.
Vanessa.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Hope. I'm the Director of Community Engagement at the Washington Ballet.
Sylvia.
Sylvia Zui. I am independent teaching artist with Inner City Inner Child Wolf Trap, a teacher at Oyster Adams DCPS, and director of early childhood arts at Sitar Arts Center.
Claudia.
Hey, everybody. I'm the program associate. I'm Claudia Rosales Waters. I'm the program associate and teaching artist with Young Playwrights Theater.
Demoya.
Hi, my name is Demoya Brown. I'm the Community Engagement Manager for the Washington Ballet.
Wendy. Whoops, Wendy, you're still muted.
Hi, I'm Wendy. I work at the DC Collaborative. I'm the Special Projects Manager here.
Terry.
Hi, I'm Terry Thomas, retired art educator, DC Public Schools.
And DC Collaborative Board member.
And DC Collaborative
And
Board.
the secretary of the DC Collaborative Board.
Thank you, Lissa.
And all around awesome person. We love you. Caitlin.
Hi, everybody. This is Caitlin Miller at Planet Word.
Cynthia.
Hi, it's Cynthia Gertzen. I'm with Ford's Theater Education.
Right, thanks. And both Caitlin and Cynthia are co-chairs of the DC Collaborative's Programming Committee. Charity.
Hi, Charity Blackwell, Director of Creative Arts and Education at DC Scores.
Joan.
Hello, my name is Joan Cummins. I am the Program Assistant at President Lincoln's Cottage.
Christina.
Hi, I'm Christina. I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator at National Children's Museum.
Aeneas Hemphill.
Hi, I'm Aeneas Hemphill. I'm the Program Assistant for Young Playwrights Theater.
Robbie.
Hi, this is Robbie. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi, this is Robbie. I'm the manager for Arts and Wellness, KIPP DC.
Excellent. Hannah, excuse me.
Hello, I'm Hannah Wazinski. I'm the Marketing Development Officer from Company E.
I think this is Ingrid. Yes. Hi, Ingrid. No capabilities today. That's okay. Hi, we're glad you're here. This is Ingrid Zimmer from, she's the Executive Director of Dumbarton Concerts Inner City Inner Child. She has no mic, but we know she's got a strong, strong voice, especially for early childhood education. Yeah. All right. Karen.
Hi, I'm Karen Brown, art educator for.
Folks that aren't talking, please mute yourselves. Karen, go ahead again.
Yeah, Karen Brown, arts educator for Inner City Inner Child, Kennedy Center, and Collaborative. And thank you for doing these.
Oh, you're welcome. Holly?
Holly Gage. I am a DCPS music teacher at Fillmore Arts Center.
Excellent. Kaden?
Hi, I'm Caden Borseth. I'm an education specialist at Friends of the National Zoo.
Great. Stephanie? Stephanie Hartman?
Oh, hi, this is Stephanie Hartman at AFI Silver Theater in the education department, and I just want to find out what teachers are thinking about so I know how to support them the best.
Great. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Jocelyn?
Hi, I'm Jocelyn with the National Portrait Gallery, and I'm Student Programs Coordinator there.
Great. Danelle?
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, you guys. My name is Daniel Kai, and I'm representing Life Pieces 2 Masterpieces. Can you hear me? No.
Yeah, Danielle, we can hear you. Sure.
Yeah, I'm representing Life Pieces 2 Masterpieces. Just a former participant / mentor now, and then I'm working with our merchandise segment as well.
Hi. Hi, Linda Maxwell's here. Linda.
Hey.
Linda is with Anacostia.
Yeah, hey everybody, I'm with Anacostia Community Museum. Good morning.
Good morning. Tara?
Hi guys, Tara with Company E. Just checking in for a bit with my colleague Hannah as well.
Okay, super. And it looks like we've got a few others here. We've got Andrew.
Hi, this is Andrew Costanzo with the National Building Museum, Director of K-12 Programs.
Great. Hello, Sean.
Hey everybody, this is Sean Hinkle. I'm Chief Program Officer working alongside Charity Blackwell at DC Scores.
Great. Hello, Ashley.
Hi, I'm Ashley Thompson. I'm with Friends of the National Zoo. I run the school programs.
Diane Macklin.
Hello, everyone. I'm a professional storyteller and teaching artist, and I claim the Global Village as the place where I work.
Yes, very good. Evan.
Hi, Evan Cannon with Inner City Inner Child. I'm a program manager.
Great. Margot.
Hi, everybody. I'm Margot Collins. I'm the Education Director at Adventure Theater.
Super. Emily.
Hi, everybody. This is Emily Porter. I'm the Manager of Lifelong Learning at Friends of the National Zoo.
Terrific. And I don't know if I got everyone. Robbie, did we say hi? Who else did not? Someone just joined us on a phone 240 area code. I don't know who that is if they want to say hello.
Hello, Seneca Wells with Life Pieces to Masterpieces.
Good morning. Was there anyone who didn't get a chance to say hi? No? Okay, I think we're good. Wow, we will probably spend, as we exponentially grow with these daily Zoom chats, we'll probably spend a bit of time just introducing ourselves in the morning. So maybe we should come up with something fun. We're educators, we know icebreakers, right? Come up with something good for ourselves each morning to say hi, right? So I'm gonna leave it up to the educators on the line to chat something over to us for we'll do an icebreaker next time. But just a bit of a shameless plug, but an important plug. I'm being a little funny there, trying to add some levity here. Next week's 11 a.m. Zoom chat on Monday is actually going to be a town hall. We were thinking of having online town hall conversations even before the Corona situation really fully blossomed, exploded, and it was rather fortuitous. So we had one that was originally scheduled, but the idea is for us to have quarterly town hall conversations around the state of arts and humanities education, and to regularly feature representatives from the DC Commission on Arts and Humanities, as well as Mary Lambert, the director of DCPS Arts. So that said, we're going to shift and have that town hall be the Monday Zoom chat so that all of us in our community will have a chance to hear directly from David Markey from the commission, as well as Mary from DCPS. So I think it's going to be a really informative Zoom chat as we move forward. So just talking a little bit about what I shared at the beginning, the DC Collaborative over the last several days, really since last Thursday, has been looking to develop an online resource in response to the COVID-19 crisis. And I am going to ask Trés right now to share his screen and drive us through what this looks like. For those of you that are members, you have probably received our email requests to help us populate this. And it's actually exponentially growing with each day too. So Trés, if you want to just share and walk us all through it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everyone. I'm going to share my screen in just a moment to show you what the website looks like. Give me one moment, just a second. I'm going to actually pull up the website first.
Yeah.
But just as I'm preparing to do that, thank you so much to everyone who has contributed to the database. It is really growing, and we're so excited to see where it kind of goes from here. All right. My screen should be shared. Okay, cool. All right. Can everyone see? Just give a thumbs up. Great, awesome. So this is what our database looks like. This is what the front page looks like, at least. So you see it's distance learning resource database. If you scroll down, we have just some language about what it is, and then these three buttons, visual arts, performing arts, and humanities, that takes you to where the resources are, as well as a place to submit resources and to support the DC Collaborative. And so as you see at the top, we have three basic sections. So visual arts, performing arts, and humanities. We also have a place for additional resources, professional development, and a place for members and partners, cultural organizations to continuously submit what their materials are to us so that we continue to populate this resource. And so, for example, if you were to go to humanities, and then you go to, let's say, high school resources, and then this would show you all of the organizations thus far who have submitted resources for their organization. I know Cynthia's on, so I'll show you Ford's Theater. So Ford's Theater, they submitted various resources to us, and so you'll see what the resource is, the title of it, a little summary of what that resource is, the content area, as well as the learning standards provided by the organization. At the bottom is also contact information for someone at that organization should a teacher have follow-up questions. But then once you click on the resource, it'll direct you directly to that organization's website or whatever that resource is. Another thing that we've done is we've labeled whether or not an organization's resources are downloadable. And so I know Anacostia, their right to the city exhibit is downloadable. And so when you click on the exhibit, it'll take you to a PDF file that a student or a teacher could download and provide that resource in paper should a student not have access to technology. And so we officially have resources in every single one of these categories. And so for visual arts, performing arts, and humanities, from early childhood to high school, there is at least one, usually more, resources for students, teachers, and families to use. If we go to the additional resources tab, it'll show you some national resources that we have. So digital theater is a really great resource. They have live theater productions on there, and they're giving a 2-month free trial for teachers and educators and families. Google Arts and Culture, Smart History, Smithsonian Institute Learning Lab, which is an overarching database that they have of different Smithsonian distance learning resources, as well as the Smithsonian Open Access, and in the New York Times, what's going on in this picture. And this is something that we also continuously update. The thing that we are focusing on primarily, at least in the past week, has been DC-specific arts and cultural organizations and their resources. And so that's something that we've provided in this visual arts, performing arts, and humanities. The majority of these all of these come from our partners directly. I mean, and the additional resources are not necessarily our partners, but just resources that we found that could be helpful. And then the professional development tab, we have just different articles, webinars, just different things for teachers, parents, families on how to make the transition to distance learning. We also even have, sorry, it's freezing up a little bit, friends. Some things are for artists, and so artists in the time of global pandemic, that's a webinar that happened that was recorded. Teaching theater online, teaching through effectively during disruption, a resource to supporting families with young children who are working from home, that was created by Google. Distance learning tips from one teacher to another. And so it's kind of a general scope of professional development, not just for teachers, but for families and for organizations as well. If you click this button right here, DC Collaborative Professional Development Events, this will take you to a calendar, which we are going to be populating soon, and that we're going to ask our partners and teachers to populate. And so if you have an event coming up through your organization that is going to be virtual and you'd like teachers to attend or families to attend, and you just want another place to plug it, if you invite community@dccollaborative.org to the event, we'll accept that event, and that event will populate automatically onto this calendar. And then the last tab is just the content submission form. And so if you want to continuously, like I said, populate this form with your organization's resources, then you can do so here. And then we will go through and upload them. And we've been uploading forms every day. So does anyone have any questions? You can just go ahead and speak. Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thanks. I just put up in the chat the, it's community@dccollaborative.org. So when you have online live events that you want shared to the broader community, invite community@dccollaborative.org to that calendar invite. And also, thank you so much, Hannah, for putting that up. We will be sharing that with everyone once again. And indeed, this is a great resource for what we need right now as a community and for future planning. And before we get into a little more of the conversation around how we can all continue to build this platform, I can share a few things with you. Another thing that the DC Collaborative is doing in service to our community, we have established a weekly conversation. It just took place. It'll take place on Fridays with core members of DCPS Central Office, DCPS Community Affairs, DCPS Libraries, DCPS Charter School Board, Smithsonian Institution, and the Kennedy Center, among others, where we're talking about what is happening on the ground, especially relevant to this upcoming week, because as you know, students have had a bumped up spring break so that the schools could prepare for the distance learning and get the materials out, get the schools ready for distributing educational packets, as well as the food centers, the feeding centers, which are so important. So a couple of things that have come up in our conversation that we just had today to share with you include that we'll be forwarding a link to you all where if you're interested in distributing materials, like some of these schools, there's some equity issues. Students may not have access at home to art materials, crayons, etc. We want to make sure these are distributed most equitably. Right now, the DCPS and the charters are not able to set up that distribution channel yet through the feeding centers, but the plan would be that's what will happen. But there is a resource that we can submit ideas to, and that'll be forthcoming. We'll be sharing that link with you. Also, it's going to be very important for our friends in DCPS Central Office and DC Public Charter School Board to be able to share with teachers what these resources are. It's very important for us. I'm really glad and appreciative that we have a couple of teachers on the line today from DC Public and Public Charter Schools that can share out some of the needs that they will have, because for those of us that are just developing materials, that'll be very helpful. Another thing to share out to that end, DCPS does plan to make its Canvas materials open so that we non-DC public school teachers and community partners will have access to that. So as you're looking to create new materials, hopefully by next week you'll be able to see what the lesson plans currently are and then what downloadable materials and resources they already have. One thing that we have asked that they do with this digital platform at DCPS is create a tab at the very top that has this DC Collaborative Arts and Humanities Education database, so that any parent, any student of any discipline, whether it's science or history, ELA, not just arts, if they're looking for resources, will know to go there. This is really important because this is a community response. This is how we as cultural institutions and teaching artists can show our support, so that families also get to know who we are in a different way. And perhaps even once we pass through this crisis and once our doors can open up again and our programs can come back in more traditional settings, a lot of families are going to get to know who we are. And I think that's really important too. The link to the resource, the DC Collaborative Distance Learning Resource, we've also asked that it be embedded in DCPS Arts section. So wherever the arts instruction is, that there's also a link to that tab. And that is what's going to cover that. So Vanessa, you'd asked, how do we access DC's online platform? We're waiting. It's called, it's done through Canvas. We're waiting for that link, and we'll share it with you as soon as we get it from them. Oh, and then Trés just shared the DC Collaborative database link. I don't know if that's what you were asking for. So anyone else, let's open up some questions or ideas. But I'd like for us to be able to help each other. Maybe for those of us that haven't created online materials, downloadable materials, and are just starting, maybe if you want to speak first, because as a community, I would ask those of us that already have those to maybe partner up and be buddies and help each other. So is there anyone that's just starting to think about those materials and wants to chime in? Claudia? Unmute yourself.
Yes, so we are very much in the just starting out of figuring out how we can fit in and how we can bring the things that are special about YPT, which is our teaching artists who come into the room specifically and really work one-on-one with the students. What we can do, that we can be there, whether it's, coming in through video and or being able to provide some sort of downloadable material without kind of putting 12 workshops worth of work that we do. That could be overwhelming. So kind of putting it in digestible chunks, and then also trying to think of ways that we can step into classrooms to alleviate teachers, because they're still going to need some kind of planning, right? And then also thinking of, family resources, especially for homeschool and for parents who suddenly have kids in the room when they're trying to work. So we're just brainstorming.
Yeah, indeed. And I think it's important to share that. Sylvia, you had your hand up. Did you want to share?
Yes. This is a time that maybe we can reach out even to the homeschool community, because I think that they are a step ahead of us in terms of, for them, this is very comfortable. So at Oyster, there is one classroom. They just contacted this past couple of days. The parents took initiative to have a daily meeting, the whole classroom. And they reached out to all of the specials, music, including physical education, library, and visual arts, to see if we would run our sessions virtually. So I'm new at this. Technology is not my strong suit. So I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed sort of with the quantity of things that I need to plan. But in any case, I just wanted to really mention about maybe we should reach out to the homeschool community.
That is a great idea. Does anyone have contact with the association that's here, DC based? We can invite them to our next community conversation. If anyone does, just please send me a message in the chat or email me directly, at least at lissa@dccollaborative.org. But that's a great idea. I'm going to just share my screen really quickly before we get to another person chiming in here. And Sean, thank you so much for sharing that link in the chat for DCPS instruction. Hold on. Right now, if you go to the link that is DCPS instructional platform, you have to log in. So we're going to need to get the login credential, and our friends at DCPS are going to be working on that. So actually, even right now, as I try to open that up for you, it's going to be hard for me to get to it. Oh, wait, here we go. Can you all see my screen now? Yeah? Okay, so this is, when you go onto the link that Sean shared, this is what it looks like. You have to log in. So once we get login access and it's made public, you'll start to see, but what it has is it has, in this area, a couple of tabs, and then resources for students, resources for families. And we'll share more as that becomes live, available to us as the broader community. But then I want to show you now what the collaborative has on our main page. And this is, if you go to dccollaborative.org, this is not dccollaborative.org, this is our old account, sorry. Bear with me 1 second, guys. Sorry, I thought I had it all teed up and ready for y'all. 1 sec. Oh, it doesn't want to do it, damn it. Hold on. Sorry, I can't type.
Lissa, it's Tracy. I just got
out
of the meeting if you want me to.
Yeah, can you drive this? I don't know why it defaulted to our old address that doesn't, the DCH.com.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, and it doesn't have it set up. So yeah, Tracy's gonna drive. Tracy's back. So yay, hi Tracy. Tracy, could you just, can you open up and point folks to that COVID response page, what it looks like? Let's walk them through some stuff. Okay, thanks.
I think you're still sharing your screen.
Yeah,
oh, here we go.
Yep.
Oh, wow, there are a lot of people here. Okay. Hi, everyone. Hold on 1 second. This bar at the top is... okay, so the DC Collaborative homepage is right here. We will get with our web person and find out why there is still the copy that I thought was shut down. But the COVID-19 response is a pretty prominent page on the homepage, and then you click the COVID-19 updates and resources. And then, and Lissa, please jump in if
sure, yeah, of course, thank you.
Okay, so then on this landing page, we feature the daily Zoom chats. There's also notes from each day and recordings. We are missing the first 2 days of recordings because we were figuring out the technology of it too. So, but there are notes for every day. And then Trés is on the line. I literally just got here, so I don't know if he has talked about the database yet, but it's very exciting, and he's done an awesome job pulling this together. We're all working on it, and we've identified points of contact for each organization. So if you have any questions, Trés is probably the best person to brainstorm with, but he'll go over all of that in more detail. And then under this Stay Informed tab here, there's some messaging from DC Public Schools about how to communicate with DCPS. This was from Thompson Franken, who's in the Community Partners Department at DCPS. The helpful COVID-19 related resources as a prevention section that we've all been seeing. And then the Stay Informed has the DC Public Schools Coronavirus Center, Resource Center, as well as their Twitter account, and the Public Charter School Board Resource Center is also there, as well as like the links we've been seeing from the CDC and the mayor's office. There's also general arts and humanities resources, not PD, like professional development, like is in the distance learning database. This is more of like stuff from Americans for the Arts that was sent out, recordings of webinars and other blog posts. And then we have our contacts about the staff's division of responsibilities and who is responding to what regarding COVID-19. And then this is kind of where we're updating announcements that we've been seeing. We know that we're sending you a lot of emails. We're getting a lot of information in about resources to share out. So we just want to make sure everybody is connected and informed. And Lissa and I have talked about, I'm not sure if she's said this already, but we've talked about identifying themes for each day moving forward, if we're doing a lot of these virtual hangouts still. So we'll start to segment our list. We just want people to get used to the idea that the DC Collaborative is here at 11 every day, and we're here to share and collaborate and still convene. So with that, I'll stop sharing my screen. But if anyone has any suggestions for a daily theme or suggestions about resources to add on here, please let us know. I see someone in the chat. Please let us know if you have any suggestions. We have a newsletter. We're still going to be doing our monthly newsletters as well. And Clarissa is in charge of the Key Communicator newsletter. So those will still all happen to have some consistency. So we'll probably, it'll go out next Wednesday, and we'll probably have themes identified by then. So please share.
Yeah. Thanks, Lucy. Vanessa, you had a question or want to chime in?
I have a few questions. All those resources are fantastic. So we are just getting started with figuring out how to do virtual learning. We're wanting to explore whether or not we can actually still maybe do a residency or provide content for schools along with general content for the community. I have a couple tactical questions. I'm wondering, from the perspective of DC schools and teachers, what platform is ideal? Is Zoom the best platform, or Google Classroom, or does it depend on the school? I would love feedback on that. Does anybody know?
Any of the DC teachers out there, please chime in. We will follow up too, but anyone on right now that can chime in?
Yeah, I think that Zoom is being successful to a couple of teachers that have been doing it with this one classroom that I've mentioned. We will be using Zoom to communicate with the classroom.
Vanessa, my guess is that it depends on the school, unless central admin has said this is how you're supposed to deliver or connect with your students, because nationally the teachers that we work with, which is sort of not what you're asking specific, but my sense is from what they're saying, they're all connecting with their students in the way that they either previously did digitally or by distance, or in a way that they are capable of doing because of equity issues. So my guess would be it would be very similar in DC.
Yeah. Okay. There's a comment in the chat from Holly that says DCPS is trying to move away from Google in general, and she thinks Zoom might be the expectation as well.
Yeah, I think it's the stronger platform. My husband's using it to teach, and we're loving it at the ballet as a tool, but I didn't want to, you know, it's good to know what the schools are preferring. I'm also curious if any other organizations in our group here, do any of you already have experience teaching workshops virtually or in specifically dance online?
I have something to say again. Through Sitar Center, where I direct the early childhood group, I've called in all of my teaching artists. So on that note, I just wanted to pose two concerns that they have. How to make this viable. This is their livelihood. So basically they are all unemployed right now. Unlike if we have a managerial position, then we don't really have that same concern. And once this crisis is over, even all of the material that they put out there online, if it's free now or not. So those are things that they are struggling with to make, you know, to be able to monetize and make it viable. Now, one of our teaching artists, she has her own academy. That's not through Sitar Center, but she started teaching virtually dance, Bollywood, for the class that she was already teaching prior. So she's teaching through Zoom. And
Who's that? What's
her name is Suchi or Shuti. Yeah, Shuti Booth. I'll send you her name if you would like, and you can contact her. But I asked her yesterday, how did it work? And she said it was very successful. She had to adjust first, allowing time for everybody to adjust to the technology piece, to get set and make sure that all of the students in their individual spaces had that piece together. And she's adjusting the pace. However, she found that it was very successful. This week was a pilot, and next week she's gonna teach all of her classes online, her dance classes online. Yeah.
That's great. We do have a few comments coming in on the chat, so everyone take a look. From Hannah talking about how you've already taken a few classes via Zoom. That's great. Also, one of the questions that Addie had, is DC Collab or anyone planning to survey teachers regarding digital learning needs? Learning needs. And yes, DC Collaborative has a needs survey going out to teachers today. Tracy, do you want to talk a little bit about that? Clarissa is overseeing it. And we'll make sure to add these questions in there. I think we already have them in there though.
I have one last one.
Okay, and then Tracy will share about the survey. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So we currently have like teacher resource guides on several ballets, and we have some information and content on music within them. I'm curious if there are any music organizations that might want to share, and we could put out there, you know, resources that are complementary. Like if you have anything about learning and studying Tchaikovsky, we have a bunch of information on the ballet side of it, and I would love to combine those resources, you know, and share them from both of our organizations. Is there anyone with that or interested in that?
I think that sounds like a great idea. Maybe put that, yeah, Caitlin says, that, yeah, I think we put that in the chat, Vanessa, because then we'll follow up and we'll see if some folks might come in. Sylvia just said she's interested in the elementary level, so there you go. That's what I love about the collaborative. You know, even in the best of times, when we have our member meetings, we have these great water cooler moments and networking where new ideas kind of blossom. And I think during this time of crisis, this is when a lot of flowers are going to start to bloom. We're going to come up with ways to work together better and share our resources. So I love seeing this actualized right now. It warms my heart during what is such a strange time for us. So thank you.
Is my mic working?
Tom, yay, we can hear you. We couldn't
Oh,
hear
great.
Tom yesterday. He's here. Say hi, Tom.
Hi.
Tom, introduce yourself to everyone.
Hi, I'm Tom Howell, a filmmaker from DC. And I've got some instructional materials in comic book form, and I'll be able to upload them to the database on Monday.
Great.
And also, I've made some short videos. So I'll be here each day.
Fantastic. Great, thanks, Tom. I just wanted to respond to some things that I'm seeing on the chat also as we continue the conversation. Then Tracy will talk about the survey, because this is great that we're having this conversation today because we can add additional questions to that survey. I think that from Sean, having some concern whether DCPS will encourage organized video gatherings given all students are not provided or do not have access to technology for distance learning. And Sean, you're absolutely right. Equity is a huge concern. Even in the best of times, equity is a huge concern in our work, certainly as the DC Collaborative. That's why we exist. And what we know is, let's get the materials out there that may be distance learning that we have for those that have it, and then always be thinking of downloadable materials or other ways that we can get to students that may not have these technologies. We don't have the data on what students have resources or not. What we do know from, and what we asked of our central office friends earlier on the phone today were, for example, the schools that have been identified as feeding food distribution centers. That might be a really good place, because those could also be students that may not have those resources. So at some point, for us to be able to share downloadable resources or physical materials there will be helpful. Also, the schools, the plan is for the schools, for the students to be able to go to their own schools to pick up packets of instruction. So if that continues, that's another way for us to make sure that we are providing some equity. Again, we don't know about these live opportunities, but I think there will be many students that will be able to benefit from it. And it's hard to really think about what does equity look like in a live dance instruction. We'll continue to figure this out together as a community, but I would encourage everyone to still continue to think of those ideas, but always be mindful of equity and think of other ways too.
Hey, Lisa, this is Sean. Appreciate that. Thanks for that feedback. We are looking into all those options as well. On the link I provided, it does have kind of a list of the learning platforms that DCPS has been using with, I think they have it as elementary and secondary students. Mm-hmm. So what I'm really interested in as things develop and or if closures continue is if there will be ways for us to access some of these like student platforms. While all the students won't have access to technology to consistently visit a lot of these different platforms, I do think the kids that do have access will go that route. So I'm interested to see if we couldn't down the road add some of our content into their existing systems where some of these assignments already live. Again, that link is from that family resource page on the link I provided. And if you scroll down to digital supports, it talks about the different kind of apps, web services that they use to kind of feed the students different types of information or different structures for that information. So I think it's way too quick, and they're trying their best to roll things out too, I'm sure. Yes. But as things continue to develop, figuring out ways to integrate with where the kids might already be going or visiting on their own, I think will be really helpful too.
Yeah, that's true. Because I think a lot of families that do have the resources are already doing that this week. So a lot of families are probably already fine. I know my social media has been flooded with free online opportunities, whether, as Karen says here in the chat, whether it's YouTube or on Zoom. I don't know how many of you did the Debbie Allen dance lesson this week. That was awesome. I mean, there's so many things that are coming at us, and for folks that are parents and are already home with their kiddos, I think they've been looking for a lot of these resources. And I think back to your point, Sean, my understanding with that DCPS resource where the digital supports are, they will be connecting partners in there already, which are some of us. And they are very cognizant of this resource that the collaborative has created. They've sent it out to all their partner orgs. That's you. It will be embedded in materials. That's what they're going to be working on now, the best they can. And also DCPS Arts, they're not controlling that platform that hopefully we should have access to soon to see it. But they are going to make the recommendations to have certain tabs parked in certain places that could link to all of the resources we, as the collaborative, meaning all of us, are making available to students. So that's why it's really important to populate through one consistent portal, the opportunities that and the way that we've structured it through the DC Collaborative Distance Learning resource that Tré walked you through. Tracey, do you want to share a little bit about the survey that we're going to do?
Sure, and actually, I think Clarissa was busy. It has already been sent out
okay, great.
after the call started, and we already have 9 responses from educators. So they're usually it's hard to get them to fill out a survey, but they're pretty eager for these resources. So we'll hope to share. I mean, on the fly, the resource type that we've asked them about, which was most useful, we've asked about online or printable lessons, filmed virtual museum tours, filmed performing arts, online interactive professional development, distance learning live classroom lesson, distance learning for students with special needs, and then we left a place for them to add in other resources. We're surveying early childhood, that's 0 to 5, through grade 12, what subject areas teachers are teaching, and what content areas that they are focusing on, as well as like the discipline that they would like to see. So at least for, we sent out the needs assessment to, I think it was around 600 teachers, principals, and our key communicator list. So it was anyone who has ever taken a trip with the collaborative this year, as well as our main points of contact in each school. So that's where our jargony, key communicator term comes from. And then every DCPS principal and every charter school principal that we have an email for. So if you would also like to forward the needs assessment to your list, we could provide a link. And we'd love to hear even anecdotal stuff about what you're hearing that teachers or administrators need. So you can email Clarissa Hartsfield is our main point of contact for that. So you can email us to give any suggestions.
Thanks. Also, some of the new ideas that came forward, we can do follow-up as well. I think that that's great. We're already seeing response because clearly there's so many of us. We're all in this together. And, you know, we're all here. We have to support each other. And that's what I think is so wonderful about our community. That's what artists do, right? We help. We help each other. So I'm looking at something that Diane Macklin shared in the chat. And I think that this is a very complex, multi-layered concern that we have as a community. A few of our Zoom chat conversations have already talked about needs for we know that we're going to have needs at all of our cultural institutions. Where does education fit in the priority list, right? Also for teaching artists, independent contractors, that's a really challenged community that we're thinking a lot about, and we'll continue to try and be as helpful as possible. I would recommend for everyone to tune in on Monday, not to put poor David on the spot because he's got a lot going on, but this is where we can find out where the commission may be, because they're thinking about all stakeholders. I've also had conversations with some of our top funders, like our program officer from K. Fritz Foundation, and they're just going through their own version of needs assessment to figure out how they can be responsive as a foundation. So I think because we're all in this together, this is sort of like 9/11 on steroids, right? We're all trying to figure out what to do and how to prioritize what is needed first. As far as your point of could the DC Collaborative be able to provide stipends to make some expertise available, you know, in our minds, we've been thinking about that. We would love to. We don't have currently those resources, but that's something we are going to ask when we make our asks for support. You know, building this product of this online resource database is a first step. And then we want to see what kind of funding resources will be available and how we might be able to share some of that with the community. But we just don't know yet. It's just as uncertain for us as it is for all of you. But we know as a service organization that's important. And even in the best of times, we've been recently thinking a lot about our teaching artists in particular. We had worked, as many of you know, with the Commission on a Teaching Artists Institute last year, and we hope to be able to have more of that moving forward. I think now more than ever, we really need that kind of support where those with expertise can help share. So right now, I think it's going to be more of these Zoom chat type conversations, but the collaborative will be thinking of that. So Diane, thank you for sharing that. But I thank all of you. Who else would like to share out, ask some questions of the community? I mean, we've got a great group here of 36 participants. Linda, did you want to share something? Oh, you're on mute. Unmute yourself if you're going to talk.
Okay. I just wanted to know, I mean, you're collecting a lot of wonderful members online resources. I've noticed since I've been home to explore more on online resources. I know that there's other organizations that have some great resources like the Institute for the Arts, Integration, and STEM. And also their website is educationcloset.com library, and they have some excellent downloadable PDFs. And I'm also on the email newsletter for HarperCollins. They have an excellent resource for teachers and librarians, and they have some well-defined learning guides that's connected to some of the literature, the books out here. And I thought that, you know, something like that will maybe be a great resource if you have like a section for other, you know.
Yeah, that would be terrific. Actually, for now, Tré had to hop off the call, but for now, if you could either send us those links, or
yes,
if you go to our portal, there is a section for other resources.
Yes,
upload them there. So that's why we're starting to build the national or other DC
right
resources.
Yes.
And that's where, that's probably where they'll land for now, for sure. So yeah, please keep sharing those.
Yeah.
And we'll keep posting them.
Okay, then thanks.
And Tracey just added the link once again for our distance learning database where the additional resources actually live. So take a look at what we have.
Right.
Some of those are also embedded by different disciplines in the actual database too, but that's where we should park all of those other resources like you just mentioned, Linda.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, then I will.
Super.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else want to share, have questions?
Okay.
No. Well, I hope that this conversation was helpful. We know that there is so much happening so quickly that we have to mobilize quickly, that this is just the beginning of the process. And we think that in addition to seeing, for those of you that have your cameras on, seeing your lovely faces or hearing your beautiful voices, it really is heartwarming for us because we know we're not alone and we're in this together as a community. And we're united in our mission, and we know that equity is so important in the work that we do, but we need to take care of what we can to start, but always have equity in mind for sure. And we will do our best as the collaborative to keep you as informed and on top of everything that we know in real time. So in addition to these daily Zoom chats, please check our social media, both our Facebook and our Twitter, because we're constantly pushing out information as we receive it, as well as if we receive great, interesting links, like some of the things Linda Maxwell just shared, we'll put them out there on social media too. And what we'll do is, Tracey just asked if everyone could please write their name and organization, email address in the chat before we sign off, just so we have it logged and recorded. That would be really helpful for us. As I said, we're taking notes. This conversation is being recorded. It'll be on our website. But if everyone, yes, people are starting to populate it. Before you sign off, we'll keep this on. So everyone, please put their name, institution, and email address. And please join us on Monday at 11 a.m. for our first town hall conversation on this same Zoom chat address that will include special guests David Markey from the Commission and Mary Lambert from DCPS Arts. Thanks, everyone. Be well. I hope you all have a really good, safe weekend. And do some fun things. Sending you all virtual hugs.
Thank you. That's nice. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.